Yes, this is not a review for the Emoji Movie, but in a world where pretty much everybody agrees that the Emoji Movie is terrible, I didn't want to go see it. And also, in a world where pretty much everybody agrees that the It trailer we got is phenomenal, I figured why not talk about the first It adaptation, which came out in 1990. So as Tim Curry says,
"Aren't you going to say hello?"
So the 1990 version of It is the first adaptation that we got of Stephen King's phenomenal novel of the same name about 7 kids, those kids being Bill, Ben, Mike, Stanley, Beverly, Eddie, and Richie, who have to go up against this really messed up evil entity after the death of Bill's brother Georgie. But very much like the book, the miniseries is split up between 2 timelines, once when they're adults and once when these kids are kids. Alright, plot synopsis over, let's get into the details, because I watched this miniseries a couple of weeks back, and I gotta say, after reading the book, the miniseries, it didn't really scare me, and it left a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth, but I do want to give some praise where praises are due. The first half of this miniseries was actually my favorite part of it, because as far as what they could get away with a TV-14 rated show, it actually captured the tone of the book pretty well. The neglect from the adults, the darkness of Derry Main, the bullying Pennywise, all of it was very well done. However, with the bullying, I know for a fact there are going to be quite a few people, be it with the book, the miniseries, or the new adaptation, they're gonna say that Henry Bowers and his group of thugs, they're very unrealistic because of how vicious they are, but I have a different light on this. Henry Bowers and his group of thugs do some pretty heinous stuff for sure, but I'm gonna tell you, in middle school, there was this bully I had. His name was Chris. He picked on all the little kids, and when he came across me, I swear, some of the stuff he pulled, I thought he was going to kill me. Not so much when it comes to the miniseries, but if you've read the book It, Henry Bowers in the book, it's pretty close to what I had to deal with when I was in middle school. But back to the miniseries, how on earth could I forget Tim Curry as Pennywise? He was the best part of this whole adaptation. If they messed everything else up, they better not mess up Pennywise. And oh boy, with Tim Curry, they matched the character from the book perfectly onto the small screen. You see, the reason why Pennywise is able to lure people in is because of his charisma, his childlike nature, although there is a malevolent underside for sure. And I feel as though Pennywise might be captured better in the new adaptation coming out in September. Tim Curry did an excellent job bringing this character to life. And he was able to scar an entire generation of kids, and of course, that ain't nothing. But that does move me into my negatives. While I admire how they handled this adaptation, I enjoyed the first half of it, and how they dealt with Pennywise, it doesn't necessarily overall feel like they captured the essence of what the book was trying to teach. First of all, while I will admit that the chemistry between all the kids was great and really enjoyable to see, they completely missed the characteristics that made the characters so great in the book. I'm going to use Ben Hanscom as my example here, because in the book, he's kind of the character that we can relate to. He's moving to a new town, he's super shy, he might be seeing someone that he might fall in love with or have a crush on. I mean, just a really gentle, kind spirit that is super shy starting off, but as the book goes on, he has an arc. Starting out in the It miniseries, he's kind of a bully. Take a look at this clip here.
Love, give us back. Oh, Mom, my stop that! Benjamin!
Now, when I watched this scene for the first time, I was kind of astounded because the Ben Hanscom I know, the Ben Hanscom I journeyed with for over 1,000 pages, he would never do this. In a little bit, he's acting like Henry Bowers in the scene, and I just didn't like that. And yes, I understand that when adapting a book to a TV series or a movie, you kind of have to exclude certain elements. I'll get to that in a sec. But honestly, the characters from a book should remain somewhat the same. That's why you connect to them. Honestly, though, there are 2 portions of this miniseries I downright hated, and it's how the tone and how the adult portions of it were handled. Let me tell you, the adult portion of this story was my favorite part of the book, and it's mostly because when you grow up, your fears are more complex. How you interact with people is more complex, and it invigorated me. The adult portion in the It miniseries, it bored me, it made me check my watch, I just wanted it to end. Tim Curry would jump up every once in a while, yeah, but this is a 3-hour miniseries, and honestly, at certain points, it felt like it was dragged on to 5 hours. Now the part that absolutely broke my heart. The overall tone and how some parts were excluded from the miniseries overall. Like I said at the beginning, this miniseries, it did not scare me, but when I read the book, that took me at least a couple of nights to get sound sleep, and unlike the book, the miniseries completely failed on the whole horrors of humanity aspect, particularly with Beverly Marsh. The domestic abuse that Beverly Marsh had to deal with as a child and as an adult was so realistic and so horrific that it left me unsettled. The way it's portrayed in the miniseries, I felt it was melodramatic, I didn't feel like it was deserved, and I just didn't buy any of it. And all of the supposed horrific imagery that this miniseries was supposed to have, it pales in comparison to what happens in the book. For instance, I know there are scenes taken directly from the book, but executed on screen, it was so poorly done. I'm gonna give you a little bit of a comparison. What's scarier, this?
Oh, yes. They float, Georgie. They float.
Or this? I'm gonna have to say the second one. Not that I don't think that this It miniseries could scar people, it certainly did. I mean, look, we've got an entire generation who are scared of clowns because of this miniseries. And that's all because of Tim Curry's fantastic performance as Pennywise. But the fact of the matter, this miniseries, trying to carry over the darkness, the messages to humanity, the messages about friendship, love, fearing nothing but fear itself, this miniseries completely flopped. In all honesty, looking back on it, the only reason why I really like the first half of this miniseries is because of Tim Curry's brilliant work as Pennywise. I mean, this miniseries, it's kind of underwhelming, and I know I shouldn't say that, especially after reading the book, and I should take a separation between church and state when it comes to the miniseries and the book, but I just can't help it. The book is so well written, so well constructed, so horrifically well done, that looking at this miniseries, it just pales in comparison. And the reason why I don't say that about this new It adaptation we're getting in September is because through these trailers, it looks like it's going to capture the essence of what Stephen King's It was all about. The book is a tome for sure, but if you guys want to get more from what I'm talking about, I highly recommend picking it up, because it is excellent. But as of right now, I have to say the It miniseries from 1990, stay in your shorts. And before we wrap this up, I just want to let you know I did review Atomic Blonde, but I did it with somebody special. I reviewed Atomic Blonde with Mr. Ryan O'Toole. The review is up on his channel right now. I'll leave a link in the description. Go check him out. Go give him some support because he is awesome. But as always, it is what you guys say that matters. So have you already seen the It 1990 miniseries? And what did you think of it? More importantly, do you like the miniseries more than the book, or the book better than the miniseries? Leave a comment down below telling me your thoughts. And if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right there and subscribe and become part of the fray of nerds who love cinema. You all have a fantastic day.